Hey guys, so we're going to be testing one of my Endurapin tool steel door pin kits here today. This is the second gen S10 door pin kit versus just a stock S10 door pin kit with the bronze bushings. We're only going to be testing the wear on the bigger bushing today, but the smaller bushing will be basically the same result. So at first, just to show you, we have just a touch of slop in the tool steel door pin kit, and then same with the stock door pin kit as well too. So to do this, we're going to be doing an accelerated wear test by using this really heavy 42-pound, 1.25" thick steel plate. And we're going to be press fitting and gluing in the bushings into the center here. And then we're going to be spinning the pins at 530 RPM in my lathe, which you'll see in just a second. This magnet is here just to keep the plate from rotating, so all the wear will be done on one spot in the bushing. And we're just going to go till we see anything bad really happen, or till any severe wear of the bushing or the pin to where there's a lot of slop, which would cause the door to be really sloppy and not function properly. So let's get these mounted up. So the bushing's mounted up. I'm going to be putting just a touch of white lithium grease on the stock pin, and I'll be doing the same with the tool steel door pin as well. So this is my 1967 Hitachi turret lathe. Got a 16-inch chuck. We're going to be at 530 RPM right there, and this is the setup. So you can see the pin is clamped in the chuck, and then the big old heavy plate hanging there, and then I'll be zooming in here on a second on there's the actual bushing, then the washers behind it to not have the knurling rub on the bushing, and then this is just the stabilizing magnet to keep it from rotating, because I prefer to not hold this with my hands while it's spinning. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this started. I'm just going to periodically adjust this to keep this line approximately vertical so it's wearing in the same spot. And every once in a while, probably about every 5 or 10 minutes, I'll take the plate, scoot it back, and kind of visually check out the bushing to see what's going on. But let's go ahead and get this started. So there's a little bit of wobble there. Apparently the stock pin is not super straight. I'm going to pause it for a second and scoot it closer in. Maybe that'll help with the wobble. A little bit. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. I'm gonna check the bushing. Definitely starting to open up a little bit. Just a touch of bronze being plated onto the pin. It's probably hard to see from there. I'll move it. So yeah, I got a little bit of bronze getting left onto the pin and a drastic amount of slop so far. But we'll keep running it for a little bit. Hopefully this doesn't fly off and kill me. Let's check. Ooh. Okay. We might take this off and look at it here in a second. Let's zoom in. That's too bright. Pretty significant amount of slop and a lot of bronze on that pin. I'm going to take this out of the lathe, we'll look at it and decide if it needs to keep going or not. Okay. Not all that much wear on the pin, that's too bad. A lot of plating off of that bushing though. Okay, so this is going to be basically impossible to see, but see if we can zoom in on it. Yeah, it's really hard to see in the camera. I'll take the bushing out and let's examine it. Okay, so this is relatively hard to see. I was able to pull the bushing out relatively easily without damaging it, but I did notice it's really hard to see, but there is actually a crack that goes down in there. Of course you can't see with this light, and the hole is definitely oblonged onto that side where it was wearing, obviously, which is pretty typical of it being in the vehicle. This also wasn't in the lathe for that long. Let's check it out. Pretty significant amount of slop in that compared to when it started. When it started, it was just a touch of slop. So I'm sure if we went for much longer, it wouldn't have been all that great, and without doing any oil, or grease. Alright, let's swap it out, get the other one started. Okay, so we got the tool steel bushing mounted up. Here's the tool steel pin, the Endurapin. I'm just going to put basically the same amount of grease on it that I did the other one, just a little bit, and we'll get it set up in the lathe. Okay, so we got the Endurapin mounted up. Let's get this thing started. Magnet slipped off. Oops. Readjust that. Alright, there we go, it's back on. Interesting how the plate is rotating that way, but the chuck's rotating this way. I don't get it. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes or so. Let's check. Pretty dang good. Nothing really that I can tell looks rubber. We'll zoom in. Looking pretty good. Just grease marks, that's it. Really, no slack that I can feel. It feels about the same whenever I put the plate on. For some reason the magnet keeps slipping on this, so I'm having to fight it a lot. There we go. Alright. Magnet slipped off. Hold up. Cannot get this thing to keep on here for some reason. Okay. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes or so. Let's take a look. Basically the same slop. I mean, it looks exactly the same. Alright, what I think I'm going to do is I'll just run this for 10 minutes at a time. Show you guys it every single time. So about 4:30 right now. Alright, see you back in 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been another 10 minutes. Let's check it out. I ended up having to put a second magnet on here to keep it from spinning. So this might be really hard to take off. Oh yeah. So, there's the slop. Basically the same as it was before. Let's zoom in. So there's the second magnet. But okay, basically looks exactly like it did, just some grease on there. Alright, let's keep going. So it's 30 minutes so far, approximately. That's sketch. Okay. Okay, been another 10 minutes, so we're at 40 minutes total right now. I did accidentally break a magnet whenever I slammed that on there the last time. Oops. Alright, feels basically the same. Basically the same. Okay. Going. Alright, break the magnet. Woo! Okay, so it's been another 10 minutes, so about 50 minutes total. I was feeling it. There is actually a little bit of vibration going on in that. You might be able to visibly see it in the testing as well too. So the stock pin had a little bit of vibration, maybe a touch more than this, but this is also vibrating too. Okay. Alright. To be honest, the slop feels exactly the same. And doesn't look any different there. What do you think? Take it to an hour? Alright, we'll go to an hour and I'll probably stop after that and we'll examine it. Okay. Okay, so it's been going for an hour. Didn't really notice any squeaks. There was one little tiny chirp around the 40-minute mark a while back, but that was really it. So let's take it out and see what's going on. Okay. Well, same. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and leave it just as is, and we'll do an examination on the table. Okay, so this is as is. Focus, please. Okay, take those washers off. I'm going to wipe the grease off of this. To be honest, I don't even think it wore through the surface chrome, the hard chrome whatsoever. Just the super slight marring of the surface. Dang, not bad. Okay, I'm going to pull the bushing out. We'll take a look at that. Okay, so here's the bushing. So probably not going to be able to see on this. I'll have to take some close-up pictures later. But on the surface that it was riding on, if you look really close, like I said, I'll take some pictures. It doesn't even look like it wore the machining marks off of the top or the coating, really. So I mean, that's like the exact same amount of slop as when we started. Pretty impressive. Okay, so in the end, this is kind of what we ended up with the stock pin and bushing. Pretty significant amount of slop in that. And I'm sure you can't see, I'll take a close-up picture of it. But there's actually a horizontal crack that's starting to propagate in the bushing right there, and also a significant amount of either the plating wearing off the pin or bronze being plated onto the pin. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what it is. And this only ran for about 15 minutes, which was 7,950 cycles. So we got the tool steel Endurapin here, and it started off or ended with the same slack that it started off with, pretty much. Like I said, I'll take some close-up pictures of it, but I can't even tell that the machine marks wore away in the bushing itself. And then the coating looks pretty dang good on the pin still, the hard chrome on it. Maybe just a touch of wear on that chrome. And I ran this for 31,800 cycles, and it didn't look like it was anywhere near close to failure. So I don't know when it would have wore out. It'd be interesting to do an even longer test or a higher RPM test. I have another spindle that can go up to 6,000 RPM. Maybe that's something we'll do in the future. Pretty impressive. Let me know what you guys think. As always, I'll answer any questions that are messaged to me. Always check the Endurapin website for product availability. We always do free shipping to the lower 48 states and really good deals on international shipping. Thanks, guys. I always appreciate your business, and I appreciate you guys watching this test.